Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast. Come explore the roadmap of our shifting consciousness where self-actualization, exposing your talents and gifts is the norm. Now here's your host, Angela Blaha.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining the Blueprint Podcast today. I'm Angela Blaha, your host. And today I'd love to talk to you about thriving through transformation. So I feel that transformation is literally an opportunity for growth, very, very expanded growth. However, the problem lies in our ability to ask for help as we are transforming ourselves, because we can't really do it ourselves. Well, we can kind of do some of it ourselves, but the problem comes in when we don't have support to actually support us along the way, right? So really what brought this up was I went to an event recently, and at one of the sessions, we were asked to introduce ourselves and what drew us to that particular session. Every single woman in that session were all going through some type of major changes, like leaving partners. Several were at retirement and had no idea what they were going to do with the rest of their life. A good portion of them were just in this space of really not knowing who they are anymore and really were desiring some type of change. I mean, my heart was literally broken at the level of crisis that I witnessed and actually experienced in that session. And we are at a level of crisis right now that seems very, very extraordinary. Even the clients that I've had, and some people recently have reached out to me to help others who are just in extreme crisis. And I realize that we are in the heaviness of shifting our consciousness. And with this, there's a lot of resistance. A lot of that session that I went to was about the resistance of change, right? Like, how do we resist ourselves? I know the one thing that is missing that I feel is crucial in times of change and in times of transformation is support. So when you become the sole provider of energy, whether that's for yourself, whether it's for your family, whether it's for your work environment, whether that's for community, and you do not open up and ask for support, you become an island. This was my biggest lesson, probably about 3 years ago, was I became an island because I was the only support, the main support for myself, for my work, for my family, and I became energetically dry, a very lonely island, an island that was completely isolated from the world. And I think that 2020 sort of played into that as well. And I think that we're experiencing that at a crisis level. So when we do that, we create enclosed and closed capsules. And this is what is triggering all of our mental and emotional crisis, our physical crises right now. And it creates a deep embedded wounds. Those wounds that we've had over time that were maybe installed in us as children are being highly triggered now because of these capsules that we've created around ourselves. The ability to give and receive feeds our worthiness and our enoughness wounds. And every woman was expressing this at that session that I was at recently. Every single one was expressing this. Now, they weren't women, they were women of all ages, anywhere from their 30s on up. And so it's not just a certain age group of women that are experiencing this. It's pretty much every feminine kind of energy, and men can be expressing this as well. And I see men in similar crisis, but their crisis is more about embodying that feminine kind of energy. And women, I feel, our crisis right now is supporting our transformation, because we know we are here to change. We know that we are in these periods of extreme transformation right now. Every major change that happens in your life will activate this anytime that we have a change. And 2020 set a precedence for change. Whether that was an inward change, whether that was an energetic change, whether that was an embodiment of your more authentic self, which is what we are really experiencing right now, right? Becoming that more powerful, authentic, wise being and honoring the wisdom that we are. This is a level of understanding yourself that we have not probably experienced at all in our human experience ever over the life of humanity. Your level of understanding yourself right now will bring this extreme awareness for review and for healing. And if we are not proactive about our own healing and our own shifting consciousness, the energies and the triggers will make sure that this comes to the surface, that this gets created in some way, somehow. And I feel like we have such resistance to this evolutionary kind of period through this ascension-y energies. We have extreme resistance to that right now. And it's that resistance that's creating the trauma. It's creating this crisis. It's creating this, I don't know who the hell I am and why the hell I'm here. It's forcing us to address it. It's literally, the triggers are literally forcing us to address it. So what are some things that we can do to address it without being in a crisis experience, right? Because it's hard to come out of a crisis. It's easy to slip into crisis kind of mentality or crisis kind of behaviors and energies. But what happens when you're in that crisis is there's an opportunity to become stuck. So here are a couple things that you can do to sort of be more proactive in your own healing, in your own awareness. Number one is support. You cannot continue to be an island, just as I could not continue to be an island several years ago. It was harming me. It was doing more harm than it was good. So ask for support. Find a group, create a group. I have several opportunities for that coming up. I have master classes and retreats because I know what's happening in the consciousness and I know where people are. So support. You need to find support. I don't care where you find it. Well, I do care where you find it, because you don't want to have support that is going to further keep you stuck in crisis or in trauma. What you want to find is support that's going to help you understand how to heal yourself. And if you're in the healing world, how to heal others. So you really need that kind of ascension support that's going to help you transform all of the triggers and all of the crisis energy that you might be experiencing right now. The second thing is your connection to your higher self. I cannot express how important that is right now, and embodying that connection. Like, you need to become the connection. it's not just meditating and getting answers to the questions that you have any longer. It's you being that connection to your highest self, to your God self, to source, to the universe, whatever words you want to use or whatever connection you want to create. But that higher power that we've been trained in having and knowing, it's a must right now. Because that intuitive center, that intuitive power will lead the way out of crisis and trauma. And we're not done with crisis and trauma. I can guarantee that we're not done with that, because this transformation that we're experiencing, the ascension transformation, it's not over with in 2 or 3 days. It's a longer period of time. And so that deep embodied connection, and if you don't know how to do that, please reach out. Please reach out, because that is vital to your sustaining yourself and your energy moving forward. So it's vital. And the third thing I would say, besides support and your deep connection with your highest self, is the actualization of those two things, like living that out in your everyday life. That's what actualization is you becoming that connected source to all the abundances, connecting to that new earth kind of energy that's becoming very, very available right now. And it's very powerful. So the embodiment of that, we're not used to embodying our own power and our own knowing, and becoming that is self-actualizing. Like that's what self-actualizing is becoming the master of your own self, your own knowing, your own being, and really becoming that power, that the depth of who you are, the thing that you've always known that you came here to be. It's that. We may not have words for it, but we can feel it, we can experience it. Creating words as we go is where the beauty of it is. I mean, that's the beauty of expressing, being able to express the power. Once you embody it, you can express the power. It's not rehearsing and telling your story over and over and over. It's creating and expressing the beauty of who you are, who your natural, authentic self is. We are being called and pushed and pulled to being that authentic, natural self. That's probably why the triggers are here. That's why we're feeling in crisis, is because we're resisting that. We have a tendency to resist our own natural self because we have been told, we have been programmed, we have been, taught not to be that self. But this transformation that we're in, this ascension transformation that we are in, is all about that, being the most authentic self that you possibly can be. And that's where, when we're in resistance to that, it creates a crisis. It creates this energy of being stuck, of feeling alone, being that island. It's creating that for you so that you can open up to something else. But we don't have to do it the hard way. We can do it through authentic support and empowerment. In that support, that's really what you're looking for, is an empowered support system. You're looking for, that deep connection to your source, to your power, to your authentic self, like literally, and then living that out every single day. Because there's no need to be in a crisis. There's no need to be in the trauma of all of your past experiences. We don't have to be there any longer. We can be in this energy of abundance, of wealth, of extreme well-being that's available to us. And those are the 3 things that I recommend that you do now in order to be proactive and to pull yourself out of that kind of energy. And by all means, if it's hard for you to do, or if you don't really know where to start, reach out. Reach out. I want to thank you for joining me today on the Blueprint Podcast. And let us know how you're working through your own healing, this opportunity for extreme growth, your ability to thrive through the transformations that we are experiencing right now and will continue to experience. So I want to know how you're doing. So thank you again for joining me. And until next week, this is Angela Blaha.
Thank you for being with us today. To find out more about Angela, visit her website at www.angelablaha.com